How's it going? Welcome back to another great video with your host, The Savior, because today we have something glorious to talk about. A new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, okay? It's finally here, and this one has been rather difficult to talk about because there's lots of people who just massively dislike the game already before even playing the game. And there's people who want to say this is the best thing ever, this is the next step in evolution for gaming and the best Assassin's Creed game ever. So you have two sides, and like all things in this current culture and society that we live in now, there's no middle ground, okay? And I just find that very upsetting, very sad, and very tribal.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
And that is what I try and eradicate on this channel, okay? Because current society is full of one-sided thinking and mob mentality and just, echo chambers, okay? And it's important that we reach a middle ground, that we have a nuanced discussion about this game, the good and the bad, and understand that everyone, of course, has their own different subjective experience and they have their own different preferences. And just because someone doesn't like the same game you like doesn't mean that they need to be, hoisted up on a goddamn stake right through the juicy rectum. You know what I mean?
Let's get it.
So with all that out of the way, today I'm going to be giving you my Assassin's Creed Shadows review, my Assassin's Creed Shadows honest review, and I'm going to be as objective as I can be, and I will also tell you when I have a subjective bias take, okay, because I think that's only fair with game reviews, and reviews at the moment have become very muddled, and I'm not going to give you a final score. I don't do that bullshit. I'm going to give you positives and negatives and let you decide if this game is worth checking out. I'm going to only focus on this as a game, okay? I've already done a separate video talking about the whole controversy, which is just released on my channel, and the kind of nature of the culture surrounding this game, because I think that is important to talk about. But in my game review, I actually want to discuss and analyze the game, and I think too many people are not going to separate the two. So there you go. If you want to know more about what I think about the controversy, go check my last video. But today I'm just giving you my Assassin's Creed Shadows review. The first thing I want to highlight is just how the combat and the stealth is just so much better this time around, okay? I'm not a huge fan of the recent Assassin's Creed games. I am much more an old school fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise. I love Assassin's Creed 1, 2, the whole Ezio saga, okay? Let's just be real. If you know, you know. And I love me some Black Flag. I'm not really a big fan of the Assassin's Creed RPG formula, but since that time, I think this is the best combat we've had in the series, and that is a big positive. Depending if you want a more laid-back stealth approach, you can customize that with the settings and make stealth much easier, and vice versa with the combat. And I really like that because this time around, you actually play as two separate characters, and that's quite important to have a difficulty option for both stealth and combat, because say for example you only like playing as one character, well that way you can actually fine-tune the experience, because Yasuke is much better with combat and the other is much better at stealth. So it doesn't mean you have to constantly switch between the two characters, and you can fine-tune the experience that way, which I think is a big positive. But also the combat just feels so much fluid, and I'll talk about that more later in the review and give you more of a deeper analysis in this Assassin's Creed Shadows review. The next one is a negative, okay, and that's something that I feel has been just worse with every Assassin's Creed title. And some people might like it, so I'll just say that, but I personally don't like that. I love the old style of Assassin's Creed when, you would just go up to someone with a hidden blade, you would stab them once, and they would die, because, usually a blade into your stomach or into your throat usually means you're gonna die, right? But here, the enemies are very spongy, okay? It's still very spongy like the other Assassin's Creed RPG games. It's not anything like Ghost of Tsushima where it makes sense and it feels visceral. You're going to be doing lots of slash attacks, and then when you go in for that final kill, that final stab, that's when the enemy dies. Only with certain, finisher animations does that happen. Most of the time you will be literally plunging your katana or tanto or whatever into the enemy over and over again, and it doesn't really do anything. So, but the hack and slash nature of it is much better because there's a whole new combo system similar to that of like Jedi Survivor, I would say, where I really do like how you actually combine the different attacks together based on your timing. Now, are you like me and you're curious about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Do you want to give it a try? But right now, like AAA gaming in general, when a new game first releases, it's too expensive. Well, luckily I have a special offer for you because you can play Assassin's Creed Shadows at a massive discounted rate by using my link on Instant Gaming, today's sponsor. Now, I'm so proud to be partnered with Instant Gaming, and since I found out about their service, because before they contacted me, I honestly didn't know about them, but they are literally the best. And I'm not just saying that because they're my sponsor. Literally, I'm just being transparent with you guys. I want to give back to the wise ones in my community, and it's just a great way for the gaming community to actually save money. I've saved so much money because I only use Instant Gaming now. Basically, this platform is awesome. It covers all of your needs, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it is, and you can get brand new games like Assassin's Creed Shadows and pre-order them already at a huge discount. So pretty much 30% off, 29% off, you can get Assassin's Creed Shadows, the standard edition for PC. If you want the deluxe edition, again, 27% off, and that's before the game has even come out, which is absolutely insane. And say, for example, you're not a PC gamer, because I understand not everyone is, you can actually get the Xbox edition as well and get 23% off. So it has PC gaming covered, lots of games on Steam, as well as consoles, which is just a really nice balance. And the great thing about Instant Gaming is you never have to worry about them being, under-delivered or not actually genuine, because they get them directly from the authorized resellers, so you can always trust that you're actually getting what you pay for. It's not like other, key sites, okay? It's completely different, and it's not a great marketplace. So that's why I just always shop on Instant Gaming now, because you just save money on big new games or older games, and there's literally no downside to it. And as you can see, there's a 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot, so it's got all of your stuff covered. And if you're not sure what to get, if you're not even sure you want Assassin's Creed, another good thing is you can just go to the trending, or go by genre, what you want. They have a nice category section here, which I really like. I just love the layout as well. It's very sleek. You can also see all of the reviews and stuff as well. But the trending tab is really nice for recent release games or what's actually popular right now. So for Split Fiction, for example, a great game that I covered, you can get 20% off that. You can get 29% off Monster Hunter Wilds, or pretty much any game. They don't partner with absolutely every single game developer out there, but there are a lot of games on this website which make it reliable and trustworthy. So use my link down below in the comment section or in the description to save money and support the channel. It's a win-win for the wise ones and myself. So thank you so much for using my code, and I hope you can enjoy some savings and play the games you want. Now, this is based on what I've actually seen and played at an early access event, so do bear that in mind. I'm also going to Tokyo Game Show this time this year as well, as press, so I hope to cover even more games then. And I really did try my best last year to play as much as possible. So give the video a like, and let's dive into this Assassin's Creed Shadows review. So subscribe today, become a wise one. If you like gaming content, deep video essays on gaming, reviews, philosophical videos, I've got you covered on this channel. Subscribe, we're trying to do something unique. I'm really passionate about the community here, and it's no fun without you guys and the back and forth, so sound off in the comments down below. The next thing I want to highlight in my Assassin's Creed Shadows review is what I really like about it is the weapon types this time around. Now, before in the other Assassin's Creed games, you would get, like different rarities of weapons. The economy this time around is just far better. The customization and itemization is a lot better this time around, I think, and I really do love how the weapon types actually play differently. For example, if you're using a katana, that's going to have special abilities very much different from the tanto, for example, which has this really cool kind of fake out move in which you kind of backtrack from the enemy, gain some distance, and literally, kind of fake them out, and then you can go in for a parry kill, which I really, really love. And I just think that itemization is just far better this time around. If you are going to play the stealth character this time around, then luckily for you, she has some super cool weapons. Basically this grapple hook that you can grab and pull enemies down to the ground into objects and all that kind of stuff, and literally like one-shot them in the head, which is very satisfying, and it's pretty brutal, I've got to be honest. And as I said, the combat this time around is just much more visceral. It's just a lot better. Animations actually react much better. There's much better hit detection. In the other Assassin's Creed RPG games, I would say that it was quite janky at times, when you would do like a big kick to the stomach to the enemies. Sometimes it still does have that jank, I'm not gonna lie, but it is far better this time around, and it just feels much more satisfying. And just the nature of the combat, it's not as good as Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not going to pretend it is, because no way in hell it is. It's not as skill-based either, but it is doing much more this time around, and I really do appreciate that. This time you actually have to chain attacks, and it's all about not just the abilities that you have, but the actual chaining and timing of certain attacks. And that does remind me of like a more action-focused game, like combat action, that old style of combat action in video games. I'm not saying it's Devil May Cry over here, but I think Jedi Survivor is a fair comparison, because you do have to time your attacks to unlock the next, kind of moveset. And I really just love that kind of callback to older video games, and I just think that's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt. Level 18. Belt, leather belt, leather belt, 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 belt. Oh, dude. Level 18.
Sadly, where I feel Assassin's Creed Shadows fails is the story, okay? And that's going to be subjective again. But to me, this isn't a good story so far from what I've actually seen. It's not that interesting. A lot of the NPCs feel very wooden. The dialogue isn't interesting. It's not authentic to the time period whatsoever. It doesn't feel even very rooted in actual Japanese culture. And you might be saying, Xavier, how would you know? And I'm not here pretending like I live in the golden land. Trust me, if you actually live in Japan, you'll realize it has a lot of problems. But trust me, because I actually do live in Japan, and I have been living here for the past 2 years, and it's nowhere near as authentic as something like Ghost of Tsushima, for example. And yeah, that's just a little bit, when you're actually rooted in the culture, a little bit jarring, I've got to say. But for casual fans of Japan, then you might get a kick out of it. Another positive, and again, this is very much a mixed review, because I'm not saying it's all bad, but I'm not saying it's all great either. But if you are an Assassin's Creed fan, the good thing that you need to know is there are plenty of positives here. So if you enjoy the other Assassin's Creed games, you're definitely gonna like this. But if you're like me, and you're not really a huge fan of the new formula of Assassin's Creed, this definitely isn't going to win you over, okay? That's got to be made clear. Stealth is a hell of a lot better, and I just love the fact that they went back to the old kind of system, similar to, old Ubisoft with Splinter Cell, where light sources actually matter. You can go fully prone and crawl around, and if you have the difficulty high on stealth, this actually matters. On expert mode, it actually matters, and you actually have to be stealthy. You can't just stand in the middle of a goddamn open bush like most stealth in video games and have the top of your head showing. You actually have to be stealthy, you actually have to take out light sources, and I really do love that style. Another positive I've got to say is just player agency. You have 2 characters to choose from. They both have giant skill trees and different abilities to go down. So if you do favor one, you can do that and then tweak it with the combat settings and the stealth settings, so that is a big positive. So you can really fine-tune the playstyle. But where it fails, okay, and where there's a big negative is in the world there are certain actions that only one character can perform, and sometimes it's absolutely stupid. Like, there's no way in hell that there's no reason to believe that one character can't fit through a like a tiny little space if they just go prone. And there's no reason to believe that Yasuke can't actually climb up buildings when he's literally jumping around with his special attacks like he's goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog. It literally makes no sense, and it doesn't work like in GTA or Spider-Man or anything like that, where it's nice and smooth transitions where you swap between characters. No, you literally have to go to the menu, pause what you're doing, and just switch characters out. and they literally spawn in the same place. So it just breaks all immersion, and it's such a goddamn bad game design, okay? I've got to just be honest with that. Character swapping is so stupid. Having things limited to one character in paper sounds good, and in the mission design itself it is good because it means there's unique different outcomes to one mission. You can have 2 branching paths, but in the open world sections it doesn't work. A small little positive I'll throw Assassin's Creed Shadows is the fact that attention to detail, okay? Like when you're attacking the enemies, their armor pieces will actually fall off and stuff like that. Realistic, environmental destruction, like you can chop down tons of bamboo, you can destroy walls. Yasuke himself is way too overpowered, and that needs to be balanced because at the moment it's not really fun playing as him because he just basically is a beast, and I know they want him to be a powerful man, but maybe let's have a little bit of challenge. It's supposed to be a video game. Another positive, which I kind of already highlighted, but I really do like that, is that you can actually replay this game in many different ways, okay? So basically, each mission type, there will be like a cutscene, and at some point you have to choose between which character you want to continue that mission with, and it actually plays out different, okay? That's when the level design is good, when you're infiltrating a castle or a base or something like that. Where it's bad is sadly the open world itself. It's not immersive. It's not like Ghost of Tsushima. It's very checklisty. Yes, it's less, less HUD and less, little bit less hand-holding compared to the other Assassin's Creed games where you actually now have to map out the map yourself by getting, the vantage point classic Assassin's Creed style, but actually pin the locations yourself. And they also have this weird mechanic where you can literally map out the surroundings by pinging just like certain locations using like this kind of scout feature, but it actually just destroys immersion and just exploration yourself. So level design in the towns, in the handcrafted missions, that's when it's good, but the open world itself doesn't feel believable to me. And yeah, maybe that's a subjective experience, but just as far as level design goes, it just doesn't feel a world that's lived in, and I do have a problem with that. But some people might be able to overlook that and enjoy it, but like I said, it's hard not to compare us to Ghost, and if you've played that game, you will know how much more immersive that feels. But that is a really huge positive, and for Assassin's Creed fans of this formula, I've got to really stress that point, that you can have so much replayability with this. If you're happy playing as both characters, or you could do a playthrough where you only strictly play as one as much as possible, and there are different outcomes to the missions, so that is pretty cool, and I do like that fact. So the NPCs in the world feel very, very brainless to me, very dumb, and they are just standard NPCs. I don't know when Assassin's Creed will ever get to the point where it makes you feel immersed in the world, and NPCs, it doesn't have to be all of them, but just a few of them kind of come to life more. They have more radiant AI, like Todd Howard, he loves his radiant AI. But, this is next gen, and we have all of this amazing software now with AI and all this stuff, which I actually think is destroying creativity, but it can be useful in certain scenarios, maybe with game AI, but they never seem to utilize it, or just much more of a, grounded and realistic world. We've seen it being done, like with Red Dead Redemption. There's no excuse when we have games like Red Dead Redemption 2, but all the NPCs are just lifeless, okay? Also, there's no consequence to interacting with the open world, and that's just Ubisoft game design philosophy 101. If you look at the recent Star Wars Outlaws game, that's the same thing. You can't even though you're playing as an outlaw, you can't actually pull off any crimes or hurt the civilians. But in this game you can, but there's no consequence to it. There's no wanted system, okay? Either have it in your game or don't. That's another small negative I have, is it just doesn't feel authentic, okay? This doesn't feel like an authentic game set in feudal Japan and this time period, okay? Where samurai, dating all the way back from the Kamakura period to the Edo period, this unique history that this world is set in, it doesn't really pay respect to the culture, and I do have a problem with that, but again, that is a subjective point. All the Assassin's Creed games like 1 and 2 always kind of felt like it was playing with history, where you would meet historic characters, but 1 and 2 felt very grounded still, and I really loved that. But as time has gone on, Assassin's Creed has kind of turned a little bit more into a fantasy game as well. And if you don't like that, then sadly that is prevalent in this game as well. You know, it's not so blatant where you're literally fighting, you know, mythology. It's not so blatant where you're literally fighting supernatural monsters like in some of the Assassin's Creed games. And if you like that fact, then maybe you will enjoy this more. But basically, some weapon types that you can unlock literally have magical abilities to them. And the final big positive of Assassin's Creed Shadows, I would say, is just the sound design. The sound design is very good in this game. The graphics as well, it's sometimes very beautiful in these like Japanese villages and towns, but NPCs still don't look that good. The animations don't look that good. Water looks very, very terrible for some reason, but at times the art style is very pretty and it can be graphically very stunning, but it's just a hit and miss sometimes. But the sound design is very good. I just have to say how much I really do appreciate that the mission structures themselves are way more interesting this time around. They give you, you know, a target like in the traditional Assassin's Creed formula, and you can figure out how to take down that target, but also in the more structured missions, just the gameplay level design, and again, you know, switching between the two characters, that's where that mechanic really shines, but in the open world, not so much. I think that this is going to be a very mixed title, and it's going to be a great game for Assassin's Creed lovers who are waiting for this setting in Japan, but for others who aren't really in love with this new Assassin's Creed formula, you know, you might just say wait until the next Ghost of Tsushima game, because you know, maybe that's a better samurai game, but if you're just looking for a good Assassin's Creed game, then this might hold you over. So that's my thoughts and impressions and my early review of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.